Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Grizz TV, presented by Hubler Automotive Group. Happy to have you alongside for the men's game, the back end of a doubleheader. The women's teams from Franklin and Manchester played earlier today, and Franklin won 57 to 45. And now the men's teams will square off here at the Spurlock Center. Franklin enters at 4-3. Manchester at 3-4. My name's Jonathan Mathis, and happy to be spending part of your afternoon with you. I know Army-Navy game is going on, and we're getting ready to start. The World Cup still continuing, and we thank you for at least diverting part of your attention our way. Franklin is on they've won 4 of their last 5. They've won 2 in a row. And they are 2-1 here at the Spurlock Center. They've looked pretty strong. Chris Hamilton, in his first year as head coach for the Grizzlies, had his team put on an offensive clinic last time out as Franklin pummeled Defiance 111 to 77. It was the most points scored by a Franklin team since back in December 17th, 2019. A game I had the honor of calling. It was Franklin put up 116 against Boyce on that night, and the Franklin Grizzlies responded after a hard-fought win against Center here at Spurlock Center just after Thanksgiving with another strong performance against Defiance, and here we are looking to follow that up and continue to move up the standings. Manchester is on a 3-game win streak. They've had a very interesting season so far, lost their first 4 games. Then conference play began, and all that Manchester has done since the HCAC play has begun was dominate. They beat Transylvania 86 to 78. They beat Defiance 86 to 76. Very similar scores. They went to Earlham, won there too by 15. Since conference play began, Manchester averages 82.3 points per game. That would be, over the course of a season, the 44th best points per game average in the country. So what Nate Conley's team's doing, those Spartans, they have been clicking. They enter today at 3-4. Nate Conley in his 4th year with Manchester is 23-47, and this is a phenomenal run by the Spartans. Historically, between these two teams, Franklin leads the all-time series, which dates back to 1925 or 26, depending on where it fell in the calendar, but they've been played for almost a century now, and Franklin holds the old-time lead 81 to 65. The last time here in the Spurlock Center, Manchester won by 1 point, 83 to 82. Franklin has won 6 of the last 8 against Manchester, but both of those losses, like the most recent one here in Franklin, Indiana, came at home. So Manchester has won 2 straight here in Spurlock Center, while the Grizzlies have won 6 of the last 8 overall. Since 1995, Franklin is 15-9 against Manchester in the Spurlock Center here at home for Franklin. So historically speaking, that bodes well, but recent history, Franklin's going to have to upset that. Starting lineups for today, and we'll have a matchup for you to look out for. First for the visiting Spartans from Manchester up in the Fort Wayne area. 3 guards, 2 front court players, led by Bryant Smith, the number 13, sophomore, 6-footer from West Lafayette, went to Harrison High School. He's averaging 20.2 points per game, which is the 2nd best in the HCAC, and it's in the top 50 in the country. He is also 5th best free throw shooter in the conference at 81%. Joining him in the backcourt is number 5, Ty Linus, a 6'3 sophomore from Crawfordsville, averaging 10.1 points per game. This is his 8th appearance and his 8th start. Quintez Columbus has been a revelation. Number 11, 6-foot sophomore from South Bend, Indiana, leads the conference in assists per game at 5.3. But he's come on strong. If you're looking for one of the linchpins in why Manchester turned it around, he is one of those solutions. A player to look out for, number 11 in black. In the front court, Mitch Mendenhall, number 12, a 6'3 junior from New Haven, Indiana, it will be making a 6th consecutive start. He's averaging 6.7 points per game. And then maybe the star for the team, number 3, Logan Willoughby, a 6'2 sophomore from Greenwood, Indiana, is averaging 19.5 points per game, 6.7 rebounds per game, and 3.3 assists per game. He's in the top 5 in the conference in all 3 of those categories. The Grizzlies counter with a familiar lineup, although it is not one they haven't seen it in a couple games. Last time they ran these 5 out was against Dominican, a 3-point loss in a hard-fought game. The 5 in the backcourt is number 11, Cody Samples, a 6'1 sophomore from Versailles, Indiana, the 7th best in the HCAC with 3 assists per game, averaging 7.7 points. Trey Flatt is number 3, a 6'2 sophomore from Indianapolis, averaging 9.3 points per game, and he shoots a ton from 3. We'll cover that later. The front court, Logan Hudgens is number 22, 6'4 junior from Louisville, Kentucky, 10th best rebounder in the conference, 5.9. The 7th best rebounder in the conference and the leading rebounder for the Grizzlies is number 13, Len King, who was on the bench the last couple of games, back in the starting lineup. The 6'4 sophomore from South Bend, Indiana, averages 8.3 points per game, 6.5 rebounds. And Carter Crow, big story, we'll talk about him a lot more. Number 15, 6'5 senior from Greenwood, Indiana, went to Whiteland High School, 18 points per game, but he's the reigning HCAC Player of the Week. He averaged 21.5 points, 10 rebounds, and 4.5 assists last week. So we're going to listen in to Matt Smith now as the starters are introduced on the floor, and tune in for the national anthem here in Grizz TV, presented by Hubler Automotive Group.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, get on your feet because it's time to meet the starting lineup for your Franklin College Grizzlies. At the top, a 6'2 sophomore wearing number 3,
Len King will jump against Quintez Columbus, and it's won by Franklin, moving in white, Manchester in black, and we are underway from the Spurlock Center. This is a matchup with added intrigue because these are two of the top teams in the HCAC. Franklin has been at least a share of the conference title in 3 straight years. They won the conference regular season title, had a share of it a couple years ago, and then they've won the last 2 conference tournaments. That was the first miss of the game by Logan Hudgens. Manchester is currently the top team in the HCAC in first place And this would be another statement win if the Spartans were able to pick up a win here at the Spurlock Center today. We'll see how this plays out. Almost 19 minutes to go. We played a minute here at Spurlock Center. Dialing up three from the corner, and it clanging off the back iron was Mitch Mendenhall, who shoots 30% from three, and it's 0-0 with 19:05 to go. No scores just yet. Both teams 0 for 1. Samples, Crow, Flat, King, Hutches for Franklin. Willoughby, Lanus, Columbus, Mendenhall, Smith are the 5 for Manchester, just as we gave them to you. No Giants on the floor, all pretty balanced. There's a nice pass from Hutchins to Flat, and it's 2-0 Grizzlies. 18:35 to go. Columbus brings it up. Quintez Columbus and Lynn King were teammates at South Bend Adams High School. There's a nice reverse from Columbus. We're all tied at 2. 18 minutes 22. King was the leading scorer on that team. You just see him pass the ball up. Columbus was the third leading scorer on that was the 2021 team, and a bucket three by Trey Flat. He has 5, all 5 of the Grizzlies. Flat's been bombing it out from 3. He's attempted 32 three-pointers in the last 4 games, hitting 25%. That one is an errant pass, and it's a turnover. First of the game by Manchester. First turnover of the game by either team. Samples brings it up. Nice backdoor Hudgens, but it was a little too bold of him. That turnover caused by Samples. He's had a couple of them on the course this season, but he's been a pretty steady hand, the sophomore from Versailles. 17 minutes, 40 seconds to play, first half rather. Here's Willoughby, dangerous weapon from the elbow, splash. Willoughby averages 19.5 points per game. Combine that with Bryant Smith's 20.2, and you have a nearly 40-point per game duo for the Spartans. 17:20 to go here, first half. Grizzlies by 1, Grizzlies by 4, as Carter Crow continues a strong play. He has been incredible of late. He had a 30-point effort last time out against Defiance, where 17 minutes to go as Columbus slices and blocked by King. King had all his blocks of the season last game. Hudges thinks about it. Crow thought about it. It was cleared out well by Bryant Smith. Flat misses a long one. 16:45 on the clock as Willoughby brings it across. Bryant Smith dials up 3, and it's pure. 1-point game, 8-7, 16:30 to go. A lot of threes in this matchup. You can expect it. Manchester shooting 35% from deep. Franklin shooting 35%. They actually have the exact same percentage. Samples rattled it off, and it's deflected off King, and it will be a dead ball. Ryan Bostic, the golf player, subs in. Member of the Franklin golf team, but loves basketball. In a welcome addition, he plays the most minutes from it by any Grizzly that has not started a game on the season. Number 24 in white, sophomore from Decatur Central High School in Indianapolis. 16:10 on the clock. Getting close to our first under 16 break. Trying to pressure his way around Samples with Smith. He sets up his teammate, and a rattled down 3 by Ty Littis, who shoots 28% from deep. And then a carry on Franklin, and that'll bring our first media timeout as Manchester has their first lead of the game, 10-8 with 15:54 to go here in the first half. We were talking about, and now we have a moment to actually extrapolate upon it, Carter Crow. Most recently for Carter, he has been incredible. He's the reigning HCAC Player of the Week, but I think more so in the matchup last time out against last week. Well, this exact day a week ago. Against Defiance, he had 30 of Franklin's 111 points. But more impressively, he took 23 dribbles the entire game. He scored 30 points while dribbling the ball 23 times. That means he had 1.3 points per dribble in the game, and that illustrates what Chris Hamilton likes to have and preaches to the team, that the ball moves faster in the air than on the ground, so pass it. Carter Crow, coming off a 30-point effort, and his team down 2 to Heartland leading Manchester. The Spartans at 3 and 4, Franklin at 4 and 5, but in conference play, Franklin is 1 and 0, and Manchester's 3 and 0. Here's Columbus trying to pester around Bostic. Bostic sticks with them. 15 minutes, 40 seconds to play here in the first half. Another three. Lennis, good! Oh, he's dialed in. That's 6 for Ty. Season high is 19. He averages 10.1 points per game, so he's cruising up there. Manchester's a 5-point lead, 15 minutes, 20 seconds. There's the deflection and a steal. Willoughby racing up the floor. Nice bounce pass inside. Not a friendly roll for Zach Sawyer, the sophomore from Columbus, Ohio. Sawyer's now played in 4 straight games. Bostic hits a corner 3. It's a 2-point game with 15 minutes to go first half. Columbus down the lane and up and strong. Took the challenge from Samples and finished through it. He now has 4, which is the second most on Manchester. 14:45 on the clock. Here's Bostic off the handoff. Lynn King thought about the 3. Swings it back up. Bostic dials up 3. It doesn't connect. Hudgens almost had this landing space taken out by Zach Sawyer. Our referee didn't see that as a foul, and it is Manchester ball as almost a line change for the Grizzlies. Jalen Love, the junior from Pike High School, comes in. Trey Flatt back in the game, and Nathaniel Hoffman, the freshman from Jeffersonville, very impressive freshman who started the last 2 games, is now in for his first minutes of the competition. 14:25 on the clock. Columbus slips it around, deflected, stolen by Crow. Here's Bostic, a whirling dervish with a burst of speed. Has Hoffman. Hoffman to a cutting Love, and it bounces out of bounds, stays with the Grizzlies. 14:13 on the clock. Franklin so far is shooting 4 of 8 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3. Manchester 3 of 4 from 3. So they've been more accurate, but the same amount of points from deep. Flatt wears number 3 and misses the bunny. Now it's Hoffman down low. Look for the tie-up. It squirts out. Columbus all by himself taking on 3 Grizzlies. He slows down. Lennis thought about it. Now he puts it on the floor. Bostic stays with them and fouls. First foul of the game. So a very clean first 5 minutes and change. We have 13:50 to go here in the first. Willoughby puts it on the floor, trying to find some wiggle room around Crow. Has to give it up for Bryant Smith. Smith lost the ball. Willoughby picks it up, then falls down. And they're going to call Crow, who was laying on his belly, but tripped up Willoughby inadvertently. And so that's the second foul on the Grizzlies, and it's the second foul in the last couple of minutes. This will be inbound far into the backcourt to Columbus, 13:38 on the clock. Columbus guarded by Love. Love has had some sticky fingers of late. He's got 5 steals in the last 3 games. Something to look out for. Just keep that in the back of your noggin. Flatt is a pesky defender, and he poked it off away from Smith, and then Columbus had the ball, but our referees are ruling that the ball was out of bounds off Flatt before Columbus caught it. And there's a timeout on the floor, 30 seconds by Manchester. There are other games going on around the HCAC, including one final on the men's side. Hanover, who entered today in 3rd place, played Defiance, who was in 7th, 0-2 in conference play, and it looked like it. Hanover won 73-46 over the Yellow Jackets, and now Hanover is 5-2, and they are the second team to reach 2-0 in the conference. A couple other games started before this one, about an hour before, so they're late in the second half. The furthest along, 2nd place Rose Holman leads. 9th place Mount St. Joseph, just off to a slow start, were the Lions, and Rose Holman leads with 3 minutes, just under 4 minutes to go in the game, 53-45. Transylvania trying to bounce back after a dreadful start for them. They lead Bluffton 58-40, and that game is being played over in Lexington. Columbus gets the ball. He has 4 seconds to shoot. Down the lane, quickly moves, doesn't get it, but a strong rebound inside by the Spartans. That was Sawyer coming away with it, and then a buried 3 by Willoughby. 5 for Willoughby, 7-point lead for Manchester. Grizzlies need an answer. They've been on a drought for a little while now, scoreless over the last 2 minutes. Hoffman up top to Bostic. Ryan does a good job just directing traffic, a pure point guard, trying to slow down the pace. Navigates through the left-hand floater, too strong, can't get his own rebound. It was deflected off Sawyer, but it was off last Bostic. And so Manchester looking to add to their run. It's a 5-0 scoring run by the Spartans over the last 2 minutes. And Manchester looks to add to their 7-point lead. 12 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock, and it's running. Willoughby, herky-jerky, finds a spot, pops a J, wrapped around, missed it. Linus, a strong rebound, goes right back up, and then is bobbled by Love, and he controls it. Jalen Love with a pep in his step. That is back to the defender. Looked like Mark Jackson there for a moment, and now here's Bostic directing traffic. 12 minutes, 12 on the clock. Flatt, who had a hot start, gives it up to Love, who gives it back to Flatt. Trey face guarded. The sophomore trying to persevere around the defender, and Ty Linus does not like that the foul's about to be called on him, yet he doesn't get a say in the matter. So Linus commits the first foul for the Spartans. Lynn King back in for Jalen Love. And almost all the starters are on the floor for the Grizzlies except for Carter Crow. Ryan Bostic is in his place. Chris Hamilton likes the combo of Bostic and Samples, as they're both point guards, but they can play together. And here's Samples trying to find a cutting King, but the pass was behind him. Plucked up by Coy Hampton, a junior from Park Forest, Illinois. And up the floor go the Spartans. And Zach Sawyer has his first deuce of the game. And the margin's 9. 11:40 to go first half. All Spartans here in the Spurlock Center. Flatt is defended well in the corner, and his team congratulates Willoughby on his defense. Samples up top with Columbus. Flatt weaves through the paint. Up comes King to set the screen. He gets the ball instead. Turns around, drives down the lane. Up he goes, but the foul is on the floor. And it's on Coy Hampton, who has fouls, many fouls to give. Just the 4th foul by these two teams in the first half, and we're at the under 12 timeout. We'll take it too. You're watching Grizz TV presented by Hubler Automotive Group. action here at the Spurlock Center. 11 minutes, 20 seconds to go on the first half scoreboard. Brought to you by Huber Automotive Group, our good friends there. Provide everything for Grizz TV. Lynn King guarded tightly by Hampton. Hampton keeps his feet lively and is checked up to Hudgens. Hudgens hasn't really touched the ball too much so far in this game. Down low to King. King pirouettes up off the rim. No good. Hampton, a soaring rebound. And here comes Columbus. By the by, 72nd minute in Qatar. England, France tied at 1. Columbus misses the layup. Here comes King. 10:45. Flat thought about the three. Checked it down to King. The ball is loose. Hampton comes away with it. Coy Hampton has had a very productive last few minutes. In the corner as one man went sprawling. A three was missed by Bryant Smith, and King comes up with a rebound inside 10.5 to go. Here's Flat. Has Bostic in the left wing. Ryan goes baseline, takes some contact, and a foul will be called on Coy Hampton. Second on Coy. Third on Manchester. So nowhere close to the bonus, but we still have, 10 minutes and 20 seconds to change that. Hoisted up by Carter Crow, and it was on the money. 6 points for Carter Crow. Linus into the corner. Hampton doesn't shoot many threes and misses that one. Hampton was 1 for 4 for 3 on the season. Here is King. Now Hudgens from deep. Pushed off the heel of the rim. It's still a 6-point lead for Manchester with 9 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the game. In the first half, rather. We still got a whole nother half to play. This is fun. The weather outside's dreadful, but inside basketball, wonderful. 9.5 to play here first half. Samples tried to tie up. Sawyer commits the foul. Both teams have 3 fouls. No one's really in foul trouble. Coy Hampton has 2, but that's all right. Inbounds to Willoughby. There's Smith. Accurate shooter, only has 3 points. Kicks it out. Sawyer sets up Willoughby, who does not knock down the 3, and a strong one-hand rebound by Hudges. That's the second rebound for Hudges, who is the second leading rebounder for the Grizzlies, just behind Lynn King. They're a tandem. 9 minutes to play here, first half. Samples looks for Hudges. Hudges with Willoughby backing him down. He's got him moving. He tried to go almost nutmeg him, go between his legs to a cutting Hendricks, and it all was for naught. And another turnover by Franklin. We'll have to check that number. The Grizzlies have a few. Willoughby shoves off King and makes the bucket. Created the space and buried the jumper. Willoughby has a game-high 7. 22-14, largest lead of the game for Manchester, or one of the largest leads of the game. 8.5 minutes to play first half. Hendricks, the 3, loosed from the corner, missed it. King stays with it and is fouled. And Zach Sawyer cannot believe it. First foul on him. Might be our first free throws. And it's Lynn King going to the line, averaging 8.3 points per game. Shoots 75% from the free throw line. That might be a little misleading just because he's only taken 8 free throws, so he's 6 of 8. See how he does. Got it. First point of the game for Lynn King. Several subs coming in. Mike Elliott subs in. Columbus back in for Manchester. Hudgens sits. There's 8 minutes, 25 seconds to go here in the first half. Flat, Samples, Crow, Hendricks, and King are the 5 for Franklin. Lynn's at the line. And he misses the second. So it stays a 7-point game with 10:20. A 3-pointer would give Manchester their first double-digit lead of the afternoon. He lost the ball. Flat's first to the floor. He's always hustling up to King. King olays Mike Elliott and doinks it in. What a heady play by everyone on the floor by the Grizzlies. Nice pass, nice poke away by Samples, great hustle by Flat, nice pass from Hendricks, and a clever shot by King. In the lane, up off the glass, and in is Bryant Smith for his 5th point of the game. There's 7 minutes, 45 seconds to go in the first half. Crow a three, down and out, batted out by Hendricks into the waiting arms of Mitch Mendenhall, who's back on the floor, and Mendenhall will bring it up. That's Linus. Elliott, Columbus a three, no good. King has the rebound, and Bryant Smith, there's the 5 for Manchester, as getting a rare break is Willoughby. King a three, good, right down the middle. 6 straight points by the Grizzlies, authored by Lynn King, and it's a 4-point game with 7 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the first half. Elliott drives down the lane, and the bunny rolls around and in. And a timeout taken by Chris Hamilton. And we're going to go to a little break here with 7 minutes and 1 second to go the first half. Elsewhere around the world of sports, in Qatar, France just scored again in the 78th minute. They're closing in on the semifinals in the World Cup. They lead 2-1. Elsewhere on the Eastern Seaboard, Army and Navy are playing, and that is scoreless with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. In the HCAC, we already told you that Hanover beat Defiance. It's tied between Rose-Hulman and Mount St. Joseph. That game's going to overtime, 56 all, going to overtime. With 47 seconds left to go in Lexington, Kentucky, the Transylvania Pioneers have a comfortable lead of 13 over Bluffton, 67-54. The only other game about our point in the last game is Earlham and Anderson. There's 13 and a half minutes to go in the first half. That game is tied at 9. Earlier today, the women's teams for these respective schools played each other. Franklin beat Manchester 57-45. Taylor Cooney had a really good game for the Grizzlies. She had 18 points on 4 of 4 shooting from deep. Manchester by 6, 7 minutes to go first half. Samples, not really pressed too hard by Columbus, gives it to Bostic. Bostic runs the point. Back to Samples. Samples, that time Columbus much more aggressive, gambled too much, finds Flat. 3 ball from the right, top good! 8 for Trey Flat, who is on fire today from deep. He's now 2 for 3. Mendenhall swings at Linus, has made 2 threes, make it 3 of them. He has 9 points, all of them via the threes. 3 for 3 from deep, perfect. 6-point lead for Manchester. 6 minutes, 15 seconds to go first half. Samples wants some help, gets it to Bostic. Bostic surveys the landscape, wrapping around everyone's Hoffman. He sets the screen. Bostic went the other way. The teardrop doesn't fall, and the rebound was claimed by Mendenhall. Here's Linus, working over towards his right. Got help there, doesn't need it. Takes the baseline and strong up he goes. 11 for Linus, who is closing in. He's better than his season average, which was just over 10 points. He now has 11. 5:40 to go first half. Hoffman. Flat. 13 on the shot clock. Flat, it opens up for him. Trey goes in and gets it to roll. A 10-point first half for the sophomore, Trey Flat. Back to 6 is the margin. 5:20 to go first half. Columbus trying to lull Samples to sleep. Doesn't really work too well. In the corner is Smith. Smith, harassed by Flat, can't get it up to go. The rebound is out of bounds, and it would have been Franklin ball anyway. And a bunch of subs coming in. King, Love, Hudgens is in. Crow sits, as does Hoffman and Samples. Out goes Mendenhall and Columbus for Manchester as Willoughby joins Elliott, Smith, Linus, and the last man is Zach Sawyer. Bostic. Here's Love. Looking inside, swings it up to Flat. He's been the hot hand. Oh, a heat check, and he's ablaze. 13 for Trey Flat. 3-point game. 4.5 to go. Linus. Looks inside. Going up strong. Too strong. Willoughby! The putback is no good, but a foul is coming. His first foul of the game on Trey Flat, just the 4th on the Grizzlies. Still a very infrequently fouled game. There's 4 fouls for each team. And these are the first free throws of the afternoon for Manchester. Logan Willoughby shoots 79% on the season, 7th best in the HCAC. Got the first. Willoughby has 8. When you come into this game and you look at the dynamic duo for Manchester of Willoughby and Bryant Smith, the second one missed. It's a 4-point game. Willoughby's got 8. Smith has 5. So they've got 13 of Manchester's 32. But the main star has been Ty Linus for Manchester, has just been brilliant so far today. That pass didn't have a chance by Bostic. Mendenhall racing, finds Willoughby. The left hand good. Add Willoughby to the list in double figures, and there's now 3 players in this game in double digits. Linus and Willoughby for Manchester, Trey Flat for Franklin. Flat has the leading scorer for the game with 13. There's 3:40 to go in the first half. Love had it poked away by Willoughby. Manchester wanted to travel. King at the top of the key. Franklin has 8 seconds to shoot. Bostic off a screen from King. Pops a J, top of the key, not good. Rebound claimed by Sawyer. Oh, cherry picking, and wide open was Bryant Smith for his 8th point as he sinks a 3. 37-28. This game has huge swings in the score column. 3 minutes, 5 seconds left in the first half. Love. And a foul right off the handoff. Flat was wrapped up. That is going to be on Bryant Smith, his first. 5th on Manchester, and we'll take an under 4 timeout, full timeout. 3 minutes, 1 second to go here in the Spurlock Center. Heartland leader Manchester. Heartland leading Manchester leads by 9. Minutes, 1 second left in the first half. Franklin shooting 46% is pretty good, but Manchester shooting 54% and 55% from 3. There's 6 for 11 from deep. Franklin is 50% for 3, so as strong as the offensive performance by the Grizzlies, Manchester's been a little bit better as that rebound is Mendenhall's. 2 minutes 45 left in the first. Columbus kicks it. Linus has been on fire as well today. As 11 lobs it out. Willoughby thought about it, drives it in, kicks it out long. Up top to Columbus. Lofts the ball. Bostic has it. 2:20 to go first half. Franklin needs to make a dent. It's Samples looking for Carter Crow, the leading scorer, the leader of the Grizzlies. On the right block, through contact, no call. And the spectators for Franklin are not happy, but the supporters for Manchester are thrilled. It's off the Grizzlies. Franklin would swear to that Crow got hit on the hand, but that is not the ruling on the field or on the court. 2 minutes to play. Down the lane, Willoughby's fouled. Blocking foul on Hudgens. That's going to send Willoughby back to the line where he's 1 for 2. It's just the third free throw of the game by Manchester. All of them have been taken by Willoughby. Logan makes the first. Now has 11. Make it 12. A clean dozen by Logan Willoughby here in the first half. Manchester 39, Franklin 28, an 11-point lead for the Spartans with 1:45 to go here in the first frame. Samples looking for room and a off-ball foul down low, and Mendenhall with his hands upturned looking befuddled commits the 6th team foul for Manchester. Chris Hamilton trying to work for every whistle. Bostic will inbound with 1:41 in the first half. Crow. Carter relatively quiet, 6 points, though both of them were by the three-pointer. He's 2 for 3 from 3. King inside, 10 to shoot, hooked it around. Samples didn't see it coming and it sailed over his head. 90 seconds to play first half. Manchester looking to add to their game-high 11-point lead. Columbus directing traffic. Bostic comes out on him. 80 seconds to play. Bullet pass inside. Mendenhall off the glass and in. First 2 points of the contest by Mendenhall. Manchester crosses the 40-point mark and lead 41-28. There's 60 seconds to go in the first half. Samples, Hudgens, back to Cody, but Cody didn't see it coming either. It bobbled off him, and Hudgens, thankfully for the Grizzlies, there to hand it off. Samples this time gives it to King. 5 seconds to shoot. Lynn's got to hurry. King from the free throw line, just inside. Pirouettes, missed it. Should get a fresh shot clock. Samples checks it out. 40 seconds to play. Crow misses a 3 off the far side of the rim. King flings up a prayer and a foul is called. And it's on Ty Linus. So 17 fouls now on Manchester. And our referees are conferring. We might have to listen in. I think a technical got called. We're trying to eavesdrop on the conversation that's very far from us. And wait for the announcement. And you see a technical, or here's a shot by Willoughby. That is good. So a whistle on the Grizzlies, a technical by one of the Franklin players or the bench. Not sure on who it was. So Willoughby makes those 2. And not exactly sure. So Lynn King committed the technical, and now he'll have free throws. It's an odd situation that sometimes happens. So in that whole exchange, King was fouled by Linus. And then King berated a referee for a moment and picked up a technical. And now he can try to equalize the damage, but he doesn't. Misses the first. Got one more to come. There's 36 and 2/10 seconds left in the first half. A frustrating first half for Franklin, even though they shot the ball very well. Manchester has been ablaze from the field. The second one from King is no good. Rebound for Sawyer, and Manchester can put a big hurting on Franklin here with 29 seconds to go. They can have the last shot if they, oh, not quite. There's about 5 seconds different between game and shot clock. There's 20 seconds on the game clock, 13 on the shot clock. As Columbus goes to work on Samples. In the lane, back door's open for Sawyer, who has 4 points, doinked it in. Big lead for Manchester, 6 seconds on the game clock. King isolated on the right side, 2 seconds to work. Samples has to hurry, top of the key, good! Rattled it in right at the buzzer for his first 3 points of the game, but at the half, Manchester leads 45-31, a 14-point lead at intermission. On Grizz TV, presented by Hubler Automotive Group. Alrighty, folks. There is about 5.5 minutes to go here before the second half begins. Manchester 45, Franklin 31. Some first half statistics for you. For Manchester, they were 17 of 30 from the field. That's 57% shooting. 6 of 11 from 3, that's 55%. And from the free throw line, they made 5 of 6, that's 83%. All 6 of those free throws were attempted by Luke Willoughby, who was 5 of 6 from the line. He was also the leading scorer for Manchester with 14 points, going 4 of 7 from the field and 1 of 2 from 3. Linus had 11 points, 4 of 5 from the field, 3 of 3 from 3. Then Smith had 8 for the Spartans. He was 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3 from three-point range. Sawyer and Columbus had 4 points apiece. Mendenhall and Elliott had 2 points apiece. The only Spartan to play and not score was Coy Hampton, who was 0 for 1 in 3 minutes of action. Franklin's leading scorer was Trey Flatt. He was 13 points, 5 of 7 from the field, 3 of 4 from deep. And then a big gap after him. Crow and King each had 6 points, 3 apiece for Samples and Bostic. Starting and not scoring, going 0 of 2 from the field, was Hudgens. Playing and not scoring was Love, Hendricks, and Hoffman. Rebounding-wise advantage, Manchester, they had 18, 5 of them by Sawyer, 4 by Mendenhall. Grizzlies had 14 rebounds, 6 by Lynn King. In the assist department, Franklin assisted on 10 of their 11 field goals. Manchester assisted on 8 of their 17. 3 by Columbus for Manchester, and then Samples, King, Hudgens, and Flatt all had 2 assists for the Grizzlies. Grizzlies had 3 steals to Manchester's 4. There was 1 block in the game that was early by Lynn King. Few fouls, no one's really in foul trouble. Only 2 players have 2 fouls, that's Linus and Hampton. And then turnovers, big problem for Franklin. They had 9, Manchester had 5. Points off the turnovers, those 9 Franklin turnovers led to 16 points by the Spartans. Franklin scored 5 points off of Manchester's 5 turnovers. The Spartans were much better in the paint than the Grizzlies. They had 20 of their 45 points came in the paint. Franklin scored 6 points in the paint. And on the fast break, Manchester outscored the Grizzlies 9-5. On second chances, 4-1. The biggest lead of the game is kind of where we're at right now. 12 points, 45-31. Actually, the largest lead was just before we got to where we're at now. Franklin made a 3-pointer at the end of the first half. Before that, Manchester had a 17-point lead. Franklin led at a 4-point lead early in the game back at the 16:51 mark, so not even quite, just under 3 minutes and 10 seconds into the game. Franklin led for 12% of the game. Manchester's led for 80% of the game. And that's kind of the story. Manchester, who entered conference play at 0-4, have won 3 in a row, and they're looking great here against Franklin. We have a couple scores to update you on, some finals from around the HCAC. As previously reported, Hanover beat Defiance 73-46, which means Hanover is 2-0 in conference play. Mount St. Joseph in overtime upset Rose-Hulman. So Mount St. Joseph picks up their first conference win of the year. They beat Rose-Hulman 66-63. Rosie's now 2-1, dropped down the standings behind Franklin and Anderson, at least for the moment. Checking on the other scores. At the end of the first half, Earlham, this would be another upset, last place in the conference, just 1-6 overall. Earlham leads Transylvania, coming close to halftime over there in Richmond, Indiana, 34-28. And Transy and Bluffton, I think we had a final there. I think we did. They took it off the scoreboard. Anywho, there you go. Those are the scores. We got 30 seconds till the second half begins. We're getting ready to roll. We'll see how these two teams start. Franklin's Chris Hamilton is very proud of his defense, and he must have been really frustrated in the big win against Defiance that Franklin won 111 to 77. Keep that in mind. Franklin won the game 111 to 77. Chris Hamilton was so mad at his defensive execution that he snapped a clipboard that he was using in half across his knee. So if he was mad then, you can imagine he's trying to hammer some points here as there's 20 minutes on the clock. Over in Qatar, France beat England 2-1, if you didn't see that. So the Bleu, Blanc, et Rouge will play Morocco now at one semifinal. Argentina will be hanging out in the other one. And we are underway. And Columbus almost stepped on the line. The student section for Franklin was all over it. The referee disagreed. Nice backdoor cut to Smith, around the bend to Linus. Willoughby and Mendenhall are the five for Manchester, and possession ends with a three-pointer missed by Columbus. Samples, Hudgens, Flat, King, and Crow are the five for the Grizzlies, and that's a leak out by Columbus, who goes up strong and lays it in. Quintez Columbus now has 6 points, and Manchester's lead is at 16. Flat will bring it across the timeline. 9:20 to go, second half. Hand off to King. King to Samples. Samples to Hudgens. Hudgens from the left elbow. Now top of the key after he pivoted. Into Crow. Now in the wash. He lost the ball. Tight defense from Willoughby. And up and running are the Spartans. Smith gave it up to Willoughby. The fade is just short. Willoughby from nearby, went to nearby high school, Whiteland from Greenwood, has looked good in his return home, getting a start. Used to wear number 24 for Manchester, now number 3. 15 on the shot clock for Franklin with 18 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the second half. Crow up top to Flat. Flat thinking about the screen. Slipping the screen was Crow. Flat goes to King, who rattles in a 3. Lynn King now has 9. And that's the question. Franklin got so much out of Trey Flat in the first half. Who is going to be the next guy? No one else was really even close to his production. But can the Grizzlies keep it up? 18 minutes, 10 seconds. Baseline J good by Smith. Gives him 10. He is now the third Manchester Spartan in double figures. The margin's 15 with 18 minutes to play. We've played 2 here in the second half. Crow from the top of the key looking for King. Gives it to Flat. Flat not a catch and release. Got Columbus out of his shoes and finds Samples, who hits the 3 ball from the corner pocket. Cody Samples now has 6 points. 17 and a half here in the second half. Columbus guarded one-on-one by Samples. Now they switch. Samples on Linus. Linus cuts baseline up top to Willoughby. Willoughby down the lane, dumps it off. Linus steps back for a corner 3, missed it. Crow the rebound. 17:20 on the clock. Here's Samples, planted his feet, looks over towards King, catches the play call from Hamilton. 17:10 on the clock now. Up top, it's Crow. They want to rotate it around. Carter changes his mind and gives it to King. King from the three-point line near the top of the key. 10 seconds on the shot clock. King backs down and goes through the contact from Columbus, and the foul is called on Quintez Columbus, his first. First in the second half on either team. So at the line is Len King, who struggled at the free throw line so far this game. He's 1 for 4. 16:58 on the clock. First one, no good. He's missed now 4 in a row from the free throw line. Love, no one's coming in yet. By the way, to mop up some sloppiness by me, the World Cup semifinals now, Argentina and Croatia on one end and Morocco and France on the other one. So take your pick. Second one is good. I think a lane violation canceled out everything. So King is now the second Grizzly in double figures. He has 10. His season high is 11, which he can make on this free throw. He does. So scratch the 4 misses in a row. Or don't scratch the 4 misses in a row. He missed 4 in a row, then he made 2 in a row, and then Willoughby travels. Franklin's down 10. They're going to be feeling really good if they can get a bucket on this end. 16:50 on the clock. Bostic trying to work around Columbus, goes to Love. All he needs Love, right? Well, Love gives it up to Bostic. 16:30 on the clock. Bostic's looking for Love. There's a screen coming from King. Goes the other way. Down the lane. Right hand up strong. Followed up by King. And exclamation point on that, too. It's an 8-point game. 16-15. Mendenhall thought about the 3. Linus has it in the pocket. Has it poked away by Love. Columbus picks it up. Love's there on the floor. Love ties it up. If that's a jump ball, it goes to the Grizzlies. And it is. And Spurlock Center is buzzing. $16 minutes, 6 seconds on the clock. A thunderous dunk by Lynn King. Great defensive hustle by Jalen Love. And now the Grizzlies can cut this to a 2-possession deficit with anything here. Backdoor King into the corner. Hudgens up top. Love steps into a 3. It's pushed way to the right. Linus the rebound. We're inside 16 minutes to play. Next dead ball will be a timeout. Willoughby through the lane. Caroms it around to the far side. He stepped on the out-of-bounds line. It's Grizzly ball. Timeout on the floor. Spurlock Center is raucous. Alrighty, media timeout comes at a time when all momentum was going to the Grizzlies. 15:45 here in the second half. Franklin is down 8, but they have all the wind in their sails after that Lynn King dunk and then some great defensive hustle. Samples coming in for Hudgens. So the 5 for the Grizzlies is Jalen Love, Lynn King, Cody Samples, Ryan Bostic, and Carter Crow. And Samples will get it off the trigger from Crow. Hand off to Bostic. Here's King. Pivots around, down the lane, up he goes. Oh, he's on fire! 15 for Lynn King. Career high is 20, and at this pace, he could quadruple it, figuratively speaking. Columbus lost the ball. Now the pass inside Willoughby trying to silence the crowd. Gets a nice roll. 16 for Logan Willoughby in a game that is definitely a shootout now. 15 minutes to go, second half. Bostic gives it over to Crow. Top of the key, it's King. 20 on the shot clock, 14:50 on the game clock. Off a screen from Love. Lynn King, the former Adams Eagle, finds Samples. That was deflected, didn't have a chance, and Samples runs into Linus and fouled him. Just tackled him. First foul of the second half on Cody Samples. He had a game-high 4 fouls last time against Defiance. Bostic sits, Crow sits, Hudgens and flat back end for the Grizzlies. I don't think any changes for Manchester. They have Sawyer, Willoughby, Columbus, Linus, and Brian Smith. 14:35 second half. The game is at an 8-point margin, but it feels much closer. And these are the two highest scoring teams in the Heartland Conference. So no lead with when the total single digits is safe. Willoughby looks to make it double digits and doesn't get it to go. Rattled out. Hudgens poked it into the bench, and it stays with Manchester. Hudgens disagrees, but it will be inbounded right in front of the Manchester bench. Hoffman in for King, who's going to get a nice ovation. Len King's played an excellent almost 6 minutes here in the second half. That inbounds rolled all the way to Hudgens, so who would say ball doesn't lie. Up to Samples, cutting. Huffman had the ball, almost taken away by Willoughby. The pirouette, no good. Ripped down, rebound by Zach Sawyer. Columbus across the timeline. 14 minutes, scoop through the lane, good. 8 for Quintez Columbus. The margin is 10. Manchester weathered that momentum swing, and they're right back to where they want to be, up double figures. 13 minutes, 45 seconds to go, and a steal. How'd Hoffman lose it? Willoughby up the floor, left hand, good. 18 for Willoughby. The margin up to 12, 13 and a half. Love through the lane, off the glass, pretty. First 2 points of the game, and that one is worth a couple more. Willoughby in no rush, getting across the timeline, his team up 10. 13 minutes, 15 seconds on the clock and running. Willoughby, a little hesitation through the lane, took on 2 defenders. Blocking foul on Samples, who dinged the back of his head on the floor. It is the 3rd foul on Cody, and it is the 2nd foul of the half. Columbus will inbound. Carter Crow coming in for Hoffman. And Hendricks is coming in for Samples. As a brief conversation, he's carrying his shoe. He lost in the whole exchange. Long inbound to Willoughby. He tracks it down to the C. 3 minutes, 10 seconds. 13 minutes, 10 seconds. 13 minutes, 10 seconds left in the game. Sawyer from the right block. Backs on Hudgens. Up top, driving through Willoughby through the lane, had to readjust. Sawyer got the rebound. Linus, this one hurt, and it's a backbreaker from Linus. 14 from Ty Linus, who has been incredible from deep today. He's now 4 for 5. Manchester by 13. Still a ton of time left in this game. 12 minutes, 40 seconds. Flat through the lane, tipped out to Columbus. The Spartans are racing up the floor. Columbus takes on everybody and misses. Rebound, Jalen Love. He's got Hendricks towards his right. Here is Jack. A little hesitation, dribble with Smith in his face. Sends it back up to Love to reset with 12 minutes, 20 seconds left in the game. Crow lobs it to Flat and did not see it. They were not on the same page. And it's an easy, careless turnover by the Grizzlies. 12 minutes, 14 seconds left in the game. By the way, late second quarter, Navy leads Army 3-0. Here's Willoughby working across the timeline. 12 minutes, 5 seconds to go. Len King back on the floor. Got to go back to the hot hand. Hamilton didn't really have a choice. Smith corner 3, just left short. King gets the rebound, and King's closing in on a double-double. He has now 8 rebounds to go with 15 points. Hendricks, who's a 3-point marksman against Defiance, has yet to score anything today. King looking for Hendricks, looking for Hudgens, swings it to Crow instead. 14 on the shot clock. Carter Crow to Jalen Love. 11 minutes, 35 seconds is on the clock as Love misses a 3. Rebound tracked down by Bryant Smith. Smith takes it all the way, left side, off the rim, no. Crow gets the rebound, here's Love. Across behind his back. Towards his left was Hendricks. He goes the other way to Crow. Crow had it part open for him a little bit. Smith's guarding the much taller Crow. Now it's King, top of the key. 15 seconds to work with 11:10 to go in the game. Hendricks guarded by Linus all the way back at midcourt. Franklin has 8 seconds to work on the shot clock. Hendricks down the lane, off the glass and in. First bucket of the game by Jack Hendricks. And a timeout taken by Chris Hamilton. His team down 11 with 10 minutes and 57 seconds to play. Ten minutes, 57 seconds to play. There we go. Working across that timeline. Ball inbounded, it is Columbus. 10 minutes, 45 to go. Goes up strong, missed it. Hendricks the rebound. Franklin a chance to go back into single digits deficit and a whistle underneath. I think the foul is on Mendenhall. It is. Second on Mendenhall, second on Manchester here in the second half. 10 minutes, 36 seconds to play. Long pass out to Crow, and he's going to retrieve it all the way in the backcourt. Hendricks. Lost the ball. Columbus was guarding him tight. 13 to shoot for number 13. Lynn King lost the ball, picks it up, goes up strong. Too strong. Linus has it. 10:15 to go in the game. Here's Columbus across the timeline. Skips it over to Willoughby. Willoughby fires a three from the left wing. Missed it. Strong rebound by Hudgens. That's his 4th rebound of the game. Crow underneath. Boinks it in. Only 8 for the reigning HCAC Athlete of the Week, Carter Crow, who is fidgeting with his left knee and hamstring area. Manchester leads by 9. 9 minutes, 50 seconds to go. Tipped away by Hudgens. Columbus sticks with it. A whirl through the lane. Out to Linus. 3 on the way. Good. Ty Linus, another backbreaker of a 3. He has 17 points. Timeout called. 9 minutes, 39 seconds to go in the game. 61 Manchester, 49 Franklin. There's 9 minutes and 39 seconds left in the game. Manchester's hit another crushing 3 from Ty Linus. He's made 2 shots the second half. Both have been huge momentum shifters. Manchester by 12. Bostic across the timeline and then an off dead ball whistle. I don't think the shot clock started. So we'll try it again. So there you go. Shot clock has been readjusted. 27 seconds on the shot clock. 9 minutes, 36 seconds left in the game. Samples is almost pinned up against that the timeline, mid-court. Lays it back to Flat. Flat's been quiet since his explosive 13-point first half. Creates some space and doesn't get the roll. Caroms all the way out to Samples. Samples to Hudgens, over to Crow. No shot clock reset, no problem. Carter Crow has 11. His 3rd made 3 of the game. 9 minutes to play. Margin back down, trimmed to 2-9. Willoughby down the left side of the lane, lost the ball. Franklin again could cut this further. Flat will inbound, 8 minutes, 55 seconds to go. Samples looking for help from Bostic. Bostic waves off Flat, looks for Hudgens. Hudgens up top to Samples. Samples, as everybody's whirling around, gets it to Crow. Poked away for a moment. 8 minutes, 38 seconds as Flat fires a 3 and is fouled. Fouls on Bryant Smith. And the Grizzlies showing immense life. With 8:36 to go, the made free throw here by Flat would cut it to 5. And he rattles it in. 17 for Trey Flat. By the by, as the substitution's going on here with a minute and change left in Philadelphia, Army just a couple of seconds ago blocked a punt, recovered it in the end zone for a touchdown, and they lead the Midshipmen 6-3. 8:28 to go. Columbus up top now. Here's Smith trying to get revenge for that foul. He's blocked by Love. Love checks it into Columbus. Skip pass, tipped by Flatt. What a play. What a last 20 seconds by Trey Flatt. Eight minutes, 16 seconds to go. Our referees are conferring, and we're waiting to go, and we should be good. Zach Sawyer's hurrying to get back on the floor, and he does. Out goes Mendenhall. Here comes Len King, and out goes Bostic. So it's Flatt, King, Love, Crow, Hudgens for Franklin, Linus, Sawyer, Willoughby, Columbus, and Smith for Manchester. Sawyer brings it up, gives it to Smith. Smith guarded by Crow. 19 on the shot clock, 8 minutes on the game clock. Leaves it for Sawyer down the lane, scooped it under to Columbus, out to Smith. A three from Smith is short. Rebound Love. This place will blow up with a bucket here. Carter Crow has it, sets it up for King. It all parts for King. He was left wide open. He's lassoed by Willoughby and is fouled. First on Willoughby, fourth on Manchester. Timeout on the floor, under 8 timeout. Franklin trails 61-56 to Manchester, but the Grizzlies have the momentum. Seven minutes, 45 seconds to play in the game, and the Grizzlies are down 5. They trailed by as much as 17 late in the first half, and they're almost clawed all the way back. Their last lead was just over 3 minutes into the game. It was 4. 7:40 on the clock as King has the ball up top. Here's Carter Crow from the free throw line. Linus is up tightly. Crow pushes them off a little bit to Samples. He's got 4 to shoot through the lane. Lost the ball out of bounds. Stays with Franklin, but the Grizzlies have 2 seconds on the shot clock. So Franklin will have to hurry whatever play they call. Samples. Crow catch and release to, it's a wedgie. Stuck right in between the rim and the glass. Franklin comes up empty on that possession. 7 minutes, 23 seconds to play here in the game. And Manchester looking to rebuild that lead a little bit, which has just been ebbing away from them as Franklin has made a spirited run after run, but they haven't been able to catch the Spartans just yet. Columbus down the right side, explodes up to the rim, but misses. Sawyer the rebound, lost the ball. Flatt poked it away and had it. but it's off a flat. For Sawyer, that's rebound number 9. He's really been active on the glass for what is pretty much an undersized Manchester team. Even on Division III levels, Sawyer's been very, very impressive down low. There's 7 minutes and 8 seconds left in the game as Columbus looks to inbound quickly to Sawyer. Sawyer backing down Hudges, goes up against Hudges and draws the foul. That's Logan's second of the game, third of the half. Sawyer to the line. On the season, Zach Sawyer is 83%, has only taken a few free throws. He now has 5 points. He's now 6 of 7 from the line to illustrate that point. The lead grows a little bit to 6. Hudgens takes a break. 7 minutes, 4 seconds left in the game. Got them both. 6 points for Sawyer. Ball on the ground, picked up by Sawyer. Up ahead, Columbus through the lane. No. He's bumped off his space by Samples. Got it to Sawyer, who retreats across the three-point line. Willoughby looks over to Nate Conley for instruction. He's backing up close to the timeline, tries to build up steam on Love, leaves it for Columbus. The Spartans have 5 seconds to shoot. Losing the ball, regathering, Columbus throws it to the bench. And a turnover by Manchester. That's their 11th of the game. Franklin has scored 13 points off the previous 10 Manchester turnovers, and now would be high time for them to do that again with 6 minutes, 32 seconds to go in the contest. Ryan Bostic back in the game, runs the point. Picked up at midcourt by Mendenhall. 6 minutes, 25 seconds to go in the game. Samples looking for Flat. Flat checked by Willoughby. 1-on-1, 3 versus 3. Handed off to Crow. Crow now, the switch from Willoughby onto him. Finds Love, cutting baseline. Left side, no good. Poked away on the rebound by Samples from Willoughby, but Willoughby has it, and here he comes. 6 minutes to go in the game. It's a 7-point margin that feels closer. Willoughby leaves it behind Sawyer, and it's out of bounds. Hudgens coming back in for Love. It looks like Hendricks is going to make a reappearance too. Out goes Boston. No, out goes Trey Flat, who does not want to come out of the game, but will do so anyway. So it's Hendricks, Samples, Bostic, Crow, Hudgens for Franklin. Samples gets it. He's a quick double team. Hendricks, the pass was behind him. He corrals it. Samples with 5:50 left in the game. Gets it to Logan Hudgens. Bulleted up to Hendricks. Hendricks surveying everything. 5:40 to go. Poked away from Crow. Crow tracks it down. Crow loses the ball. Linus has it. 2-on-1. Up goes Linus. He does not get it to go. The rebound taken away from Crow by Sawyer. And the 10th rebound of the game by Sawyer does not net any points. Here's Hendricks. Goes baseline. Working on Mendenhall. Up top, Bostic fires a 3. Left top, no good. Rebound ripped away by Hudgens, and he's fouled. No, it's Hudgens who committed the foul. And a technical foul on Chris Hamilton. Hamilton could not believe the foul. I think the technical was on him. Free throw good by Willoughby. 19 for him. He's close to another 20-point effort. He got it. this is now the 4th time this year that Logan Willoughby has been over 20 points. So it's the 3rd personal Logan Hudgens and a technical foul, I believe, on Chris Hamilton. Couldn't quite hear the PA announcement. There's 5 minutes, 18 seconds left in the game, and Manchester is a whisper away from another 10-point lead. Columbus taken all the way by Bostic. 5 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the game. The Grizzlies need a defensive stop in the worst of ways. Columbus from the left side of the lane pops it up and got it to go. Nothing but net for Quintez Columbus. He now has 10 points. Hendricks from the left side up top to Bostic. Is stolen away. Columbus poached the pass away from Samples, rises and left is short. Samples, the Grizzlies with numbers. Bostic through the lane, up he goes, left is short, blocking foul called. And it's Zach Sawyer's second. It's the fifth on Manchester. And Bostic goes to the line, first free throws of the day. He is 3 for 3 on the season. And he's still now just made 3. He's 3 for 4. Free throw shooting has been a problem for Franklin. They're at 50%. The Grizzlies 4 of 8 from the free throw line on the afternoon, whatever. 4 minutes, 39 seconds to go. Got the second. Bostic has 4 points, below his average of 9. 4 minutes, 39 seconds, 10-point game. From midcourt, it's Linus, lobs it into Sawyer. Sawyer doinks it in. 8 for Zach Sawyer. The Manchester lead back up to 12. 4 minutes, 15. Samples wraps around the world, trying to get it out to somebody. Hendricks catch and release 3 is no good. Bobbled around, and Willoughby muscles out everybody for the rebound. 4 minutes, 4 seconds. Manchester can't put this game away yet, but they're knocking on the door. They slow down the pace dramatically as Linus retreats to the three-point line. Willoughby has 10 seconds to shoot, puts up a fadeaway, and it rattles in. A 22-point performance by Logan Willoughby. Trey Flatt runs the point. Right side fell down, heaved it away to prevent a travel, and a timeout taken by Chris Hamilton. 3 minutes, 34 seconds left in the game. It's getting away from the Grizzlies. Manchester leads 71-57. Three minutes, 34 seconds to play in the game. Franklin has a lot of work to do. Little room for error. Need positive possessions the rest of the way. 3:30 left on the clock as Samples trying to create some space. Gets a friendly kiss off the glass for the 8th point of the game for Cody Samples. He has had between 7 and 9 points now 6 times this season. It's kind of a sweet spot. That pass from Sawyer went to no one. Linus and him are having words. A miscommunication between the two. Franklin is down 12. Still plenty of time for that. 3 minutes, 17 seconds. The Grizzlies just have to capitalize. Flat works it over towards the left. Hendricks in the game here, playing some key clutch minutes. Carter Crow, relatively quiet game for Carter. He has 11 points. They're looking for him. They go to the corner. Hendricks left wide open, and he rattles in a 3. 5 for Jack Hendricks, the sophomore from Kettering, Ohio. And it's back to single digits. 71-62. 2:40 to go. Trey Flat guarding tightly on Columbus. Down low, Sawyer. Flat almost got the steal there. Linus hits another clutch 3. Season high 20 points for Ty Linus. And the margin's 12. Samples is trapped, and a foul committed by Sawyer. That's the 6th on Manchester. 2 minutes, 22 seconds left in the game. Franklin can't just trade baskets now. King gives it to Samples. It all clears out for Cody. And here comes the action in the paint. Looking for King at the top of the key. King backs down Willoughby, finds Hendricks in the corner, hits another 3! Back-to-back trays by Jack Hendricks, who had 9 points last game. He has 8 points this one. 2 minutes to go. The double team arrives late. Linus has the ball on the right wing, guarded by Flat. Stingy defender is Flat. Linus creates some space for Sawyer. 15 seconds on the shot clock, 1:45 on the game clock. Flat tries to poke it away, 1:42, and then Flat commits the foul. Second on Flat. It's the 7th on Franklin. They might be playing the foul game. It's a 1-and-1 opportunity for Ty Linus. Linus is a 57% free throw shooter, which translates to being 4 for 7 on the season. Here's his first one of the night. No good. Rebound, Willoughby. Manchester gets a fresh shot clock out of that. And a dead ball. We'll see a conversation between Nate Conley and our referee. And I think the shot clock reset too much. So it's at 16. It reset to the full one, not the half one. There's 10 seconds on the shot clock now. 90 seconds left in the game. A 9-point game. Up top, Smith passes up a 3. Takes it over towards the HCAC logo. He's trapped. Gets it off in time. It's going to be a shot clock violation. An empty possession by Manchester. Key chance here for Franklin with 80 seconds to go. Got to get a point. Got to get it quick. Flat will work it up. There is 75 seconds left in the game as Flat explodes to the rim and lays it in for point number 19. A new career high for Trey Flat. It is a 7-point game as Smith is hounded at midcourt. Hendricks fouls Sawyer. Almost got the steal, and he's wincing because he was so close. That is the 8th foul on the Grizzlies, which sends Sawyer to the line for 2. He's 83% entering today. And Sawyer's 2 for 2 on the day and made it. Sawyer has 9. The situation with 60 seconds to go. Manchester makes their free throws. That'll be all she wrote, and he made both. Sawyer matches his uniform number and has 10. He entered today averaging basically 10, 9.7. Flat up the floor. Going towards the rim again, attacks, and will go to the line for 2. crucial free throws. Flat has been to the line once, made the one free throw attempt. It's the third on Bryant Smith. 54 and 1/10 seconds remains in the game. Franklin is down 9. He can't cut it to a 2-possession deficit, but he could cut it to 7 if he made them both. Looking for point number 20. He got it. A couple more defensive subs come in. Hudgens and Love check in for the Grizzlies. Flat has another free throw, a much needed one, and this would trim it to 7. He got them both. 21-point effort by Trey Flat. Timeout on the floor. 51 and 1/10 seconds remain on Grizz TV, presented by Huber Automotive Group. All right, 54 and 1/10 seconds remain. 76-69. Sawyer will inbound. Crucial possession for both teams. Franklin likely will foul if they can't get him stopped at half court. And Smith is swiped at by Flat. So it's the third foul on Trey Flat. It is the 9th on the Grizzlies. And that will send Smith to the line, shooting the bonus. Three-point shooter Hendricks and Crow back in for the Grizzlies. Smith has not attempted a free throw today. He's 81%, 5th best free throw shooter in the conference. And he missed it. King has the rebound. Here's Flat. Trap coming. Flat blazes through it. Crow is open on the right side. Here's Samples. Takes it in. Draws the contact and will go to the line, shooting 2. There's 37 and 6/10 seconds remaining. The foul was on Willoughby, his second. Franklin is now in the bonus for kicks and giggles. The next foul by the Grizzlies would put Manchester in the double bonus. Samples misses the first free throw. He's a 63% free throw shooter. He's now 0 for 1. Franklin has a team 7 for 12 from the free throw line. Makes the second. Cody now has 9. It is a 2-possession game, just barely. 6 points is the spread. 32 seconds to go, and Hudgens got all that foul against Sawyer. That's the 4th on Logan Hudgens. Sawyer getting ready to go back to the line, where he is perfect today, 4 for 4, 31 and 8/10 seconds remain, as we're doing the foul dance here in the Spurlock Center. And he missed the first. Any free throw here, if he makes this one, it'll become a 3-possession game with little time left. 31 and 8/10 seconds. Missed him both. Flat had it poked away from him. Here comes Trey. 28 seconds to go. Flat into the lane. Spins around, goes up and off the glass and in. 23 points for Flat. And might have a clock issue. Right now it's showing 20 and 7/10 seconds. And the clock operator is adjusting it to 22 and 3/10 seconds left. It's a 4-point game. And the Frank Hamilton tried to quickly sub in a couple players, more defensive guys, but Hendricks and Crow were busted and have to come back on. So Hudgens and Love stay off. 23 and 3/10 seconds remain. 4-point game against two of the top teams in the Heartland Conference. Willoughby, 20 seconds. There is no shot clock. The lob up. Now they get it across the timeline to Linus. Linus heaves it high for Columbus. Columbus had to reel it in. Takes it into the corner. And he's finally fouled by Flat. 9.7 seconds remain. It's the fourth foul on Flat. Double bonus for Quintez Columbus, who is a 75% free throw shooter. He's 10th best in the HCAC. He has not attempted a free throw yet tonight. It'll be 2 possessions regardless what happens here. Makes the first. (77-72). And Manchester had big leads at time. Franklin clawed their way back. They got to 4. We'll see what happens the rest of the way as he makes them both. A dozen for Quintez Columbus. Timeout on the floor. 9.7 seconds remain. Probably will be 9 minutes in real time. We'll see. On Grizz TV, presented by Hubler Automotive Group. Seconds remain in the game. Frank will have to go the length of the floor. Samples, 8 seconds. Samples up to Flat. Fires up a 3. It's online, but a little off target. Doinked off by King. Hendricks will put it up. There's no time left. He got it to go, but the horn has sounded, and Manchester is unbeaten. Or have they? They reset the game clock to 0.6 of a second. This will purely be cosmetic as Manchester heaves it, touched by Willoughby. There's the final horn. Manchester wins on the road at the Spurlock Center for the 3rd straight time. The Spartans 78, Franklin 74. Manchester continues their romp through the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference. They are now 4-0 in conference play, and the leaders of the conference, Franklin, suffers their first conference loss, are 1-1 in conference play, and 4-4 overall. Final statistics for you. Manchester shot 48% from the field, 45% from 3. And 72% from the free throw line. They were 13 for 18, so keep that in mind. Franklin was 46% from the field, 48% from 3, 62% from the free throw line, 8 for 13. They improved as the game went, but still 5 points left at the charity stripe by the Grizzlies. Leading scorers for Manchester was Logan Willoughby, who had 22 points. He was 50% from the field, 7 for 14, 1 of 4 from 3, 7 of 8 from the line. Ty Linus had 20 points, his career high. Previous high had been 19. He was 7 of 10 from field and 6 back-breaking three-pointers, 6 of 7 from deep. Quintez Columbus had 12 points. 5 of 15 from the field. And two clutch free throws for the Spartans late. Bryant Smith well off his pace. Usual, he averaged 20 points per game entering today. He had 10, as did Zach Sawyer in a workman-like double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds. Mitch Mendenhall started. Mike Elliott did not, but both had 2 points. And Coy Hampton played 3 minutes off the bench, did not score. For Franklin, leading scorer, career high for Trey Flatt, who had 23 of them. 4 of 7 from 3, 8 of 14 from the field, and had a perfect 3 for 3 from the free throw line. Lynn King had 15. He was 2 for 2 from 3, 5 of 9 from the field. Carter Crow, way off his normal pace, had 11 points. And he was in the offense. He did have a good shooting night percentage-wise. 4 of 8 from the field, 3 of 5 from deep. Jack Hendricks off the bench had 10 points. 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 4 from deep. 2 big threes there late in the second half. Cody Samples had 9 points. Ryan Bostic had 4 off the bench. Jalen Love had 2 off the bench. He made his impact more defensively. Logan Hudges started, did not score. Nathaniel Hoffman came off the bench, played 5 minutes, and did not score. Rebounds. Advantage Manchester by 1. They had 33 to the Grizzlies' 32. Zach Sawyer had 10 for the Spartans. Mendenhall had 5. Willoughby and Linus both had 4. Glenn King was the leading rebounder for the game. He had 11 to go with his 15 points in a double-double performance. 5 for Logan Hudges, 4 for Carter Crow. Franklin assisted 17 of their 26 field goals. None more than Trey Flatt's 4. Manchester had 13 assists on their 28. 5 by Quintez Columbus. The Spartans had 9 steals, 3 apiece by Sawyer and Willoughby. Franklin had 5 steals, no one had more than 1. There were 2 blocks in the game, both by the Grizzlies, Lynn King and Jalen Love. Fouls were almost even. Franklin committed 16, Manchester had 15. Turnovers also close. Franklin had 15, Manchester 14. A difference, actually no difference. Franklin scored 18 points off of the 14 Manchester turnovers. Manchester had 18 points off the Franklin turnovers. Manchester had 9 second chance points to the Franklins. 8 points in the paint, points in the paint. That was a big difference. Manchester outscored the Grizzlies by 8 in the paint, 32 to 24. And then on the fast break points, that was all Spartans, 15 to 9. Franklin shot better as the game progressed, 50% in the second half, 41% in the first half. And Manchester shot worse as the game progressed, 57% in the first, 39% in the second. The Spartans led for 90% of the game, 36 minutes overall. There was 1 lead change, 1 tie. Franklin led for 6%, 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Their largest lead was by 4 points. That was just over 3 minutes into the game. Their last lead was 30 seconds after that, when the Grizzlies had an 8 to 7 point lead. The largest lead for Manchester was 17, and the Grizzlies clawed back but couldn't quite finish it off. They lose by 4. Manchester wins 78 to 74. Next up for these two teams, Manchester's home versus Hope, and then on next Saturday, and then they go to the Smokey Bollinger Classic in Westerfield, Ohio. They'll play Penn State Behrend on Thursday, and then they'll get the winner, or then they'll get however the other games shake out against either Alma or Otterbein. Franklin will be here on Saturday, the 17th. That's the last game before Christmas. Spalding comes to town. The Spalding Eagles were 1-7 entering today. That tip is at 3 p.m. on Saturday, the 17th. Then, getting you set for New Year's Eve, Transylvania comes into the Spurlock Center, and the Grizzlies will play them. That is Wednesday, December 28th. Transy won today. They are now 3-4, and that tip is at 5 p.m. On New Year's Eve, Franklin goes on the road to Earlham at 1 p.m., so that'll be in time to watch the ball drop. And then they go to Roseholm after that into the new year on January 4th. So wrapping things up, see if we can get a quick standings update if it stated, it is not. So Manchester stays at the top of the ledger. We know that. They are now 4-4 overall, 4-0 in conference. Franklin slips into the mid-pack. They're 1-1 in conference play and 4-4 overall. So thank you for joining us, everybody. Thanks for spending part of your day with us. Manchester is victorious over Franklin, 78-74. I'm Jonathan Mathis saying so long from the Spurlock Center on Grizz TV, presented by Hubler Automotive.